My name is Catherine Thomson. I'm a passionate designer and maker of hand-knitted lace. I work on historical, artistic, and wearable pieces using a variety of fibres and techniques. Knitted lace is complex by combining experimentation with thinking out of the box. In the selection of pattern stitches, exciting possibilities begin to emerge. In school in Scotland at age 6, girls were taught to knit for one school year. By oral instruction was used, allowing us to look at what we were doing. It gave us an experience in counting, and maths later became my favourite subject in school. My family members all knitted, and I was able to knit with adults and was exposed daily to all kinds of knitting. I was given a lot of gifts of leftover yarn, and I was free to choose what I wanted to knit and to enjoy the process with no pressure. I learned shaping, increasing, decreasing, measuring tension by age 10. My maternal grandmother, who was in the Hebridean Islands, made a lace baby shawl for each new grandchild, and socks for family members. When we went to visit her, if she'd been knitting the shawl, she'd put it aside in a pillowcase and took out socks. She could knit, talk, listen, and watch the grandchildren. As the pillowcase grew bigger, we knew the birth was getting closer. Her shawls were beautiful. At age 10, my parents asked me if I'd like to knit a sweater for myself from a printed pattern during my summer holidays. I'd never worked from a pattern before. It was really exciting, and the idea I was able to choose any colour I wanted. I went to the store with my mum, and there was a whole wall of colour. I chose orange marigold, which just jumped out at me. The owner unsuccessfully tried to dissuade me as it clashed with my bright red hair. In following the pattern, help was available if I needed it, which happened a couple of times. All my later knitting came from patterns until I switched to lace. I knitted for many decades, all styles and technique, and turned to fine lace knitting, at which point I researched Shetland lace knitting and the history of the daily lives of the craftswomen. I live in an island too, so I could relate to many aspects of their island life. I'm inspired by the legacy of lives of the histories of the women in the craft, especially the Shetland Isles, seeing pictures of their stunning pieces and reading it described as knitting's finest hour. My work includes boldness and fragility, and I am inspired by nature's boldness and fragility, such as the hummingbird and eagle that share the airspace above my home, and the lacy veins I see in the dragonfly wings as it rests on a flower in my garden. My work also includes patterns of space, and I'm inspired by nature's patterns of space that I see in the hearts of foxgloves and gladiolas. I'm also inspired by the properties of yarns with metallic threads or sequins, where I explore the characteristics and experiment with pattern stitches and tensions. Yes, I do. Lace making is a solitary pursuit, but I do regular knitting for fun, fellowship, and socialization, and raising funds for our community. I belong to 2 local community knitting groups, 2 provincial craft councils. Also, I'm challenged by exhibitions which make me feel part of a global community. Traditional knowledge and practice are essential. Most lace pattern stitches are part of traditional work. However, my designs are original in arrangement, placement, relative size, and grouping. Many of my methods and yarns are traditional, but I embrace new technology in some aspects. When bamboo needles first became available, I quickly switched to them. With yarns, I enjoy working with synthetic yarns and sparkling yarns. My principal use of technology is getting my work out into the world. I especially rely on digital photography, my website, and my email. BC raw materials have little effect on my work. The main effect is geography. Living in an island, I have to interact remotely. With that method, global is as easy as local. Yes, traditional crafts of the First Nation is the distinct BC aesthetic and is highly visible around Victoria where I live. For example, we have the museum, carving shed, and makers who work and sell in the inner harbour. Right. I should say that I'm really thrilled to be in an exhibition because a lot of my exhibitions have been in either other provinces or other parts of the world. So to actually be in BC is really exciting.